style lecture that I always do. And like I said, I'll explain that a little bit. So I'm using the flip method. I've done already 6 videos, and they've all been, I've only done my 4th period, like I said, it's my social skills group. So there's 8 kids in there, there's 5 boys, 3 girls. They have the Google YouTube videos on the Google Docs that they can watch, and then the problems in class for the one-on-one assistance. So that's going to be the intervention that I'm doing that way. Alright, so the sample group for my intervention using the flipped classroom method is, it's my resource classroom setting, it's my 4th period class. Like I said, it has grades 9 through 12. I have 5 boys, 3 girls. All students have IEPs. There is 4 SLD kids, 1 MMD kid, and there are 3 kids who are identified autistic. This particular class struggles with their social skills, so that's why I picked this class, because I thought it would be best to try with them first, since they struggle with asking the questions and talking while in class. Alright, so my baseline data. What I've done is I've taken the results from the last 3 years. So as you can see on the chart here, I got 2014, 2015, and 2016. What I've done is I've went ahead and I just picked 6 this has 4, but I picked 6 activities that I did with my the flipped classroom model, and I've compared it to the last 3 years. So activity 1, as you can tell, from the last 3 years, it kind of stayed the same, not much change, hovered around 79%. Activity 2, a little bit of change, kind of decreased from last year to this year. And activity 3 hovered around the same, and activity 4 kind of hovered around the same. Alright? Alright, so my intervention number 1. What I'm doing for this intervention is I went ahead and just did different teaching approaches for my 1st and my 6th period classes. Like I said, I did the flipped classroom model with my 4th period and my 1st and 6th. What I kind of did is it's pair learning. Those class periods have about 10 kids in each of them. So what I did is I teamed them up with somebody, and we did basically group teaching. I mean, it's already a small group setting, but I went ahead and made it a little bit smaller and put them in pairs. And we did the lecture that way, and then they took notes and were able to work together to see what they could answer working with a partner. Alright, so the data from my intervention number 2, which is the flipped classroom model. As you can see, I chose 6 activities to do, all math-related activities. So the light green is my 1st period class. The darker green is, I guess I should have switched colors up a little bit. The darker green is my 4th period, which I did the flipped classroom model with, and then the blue is actually my 6th period class. Alright, so as you can see, on the next slide, it actually goes over the data a little bit, but this is the actual visualize. If you're visual learners like I am, this will help you out a little bit. As you can see, my 4th period class actually never scored the lowest on any of the 6 activities that we did. They either scored the same, which this one I think they scored the same as 4th period, or 6th period I mean. So they either scored the same or they scored a little bit better. They never scored below my 1st or 6th period, which I thought was really interesting, considering that this is the first time I've done this with any of my classes. Alright, so some data analysis from my intervention using the flipped classroom model. Like I said, all the activities that we did were math related. So we did 2-step equations, order of operations, and graphing. Each one of the activities were something different along those lines. 4th period, they either, so here's a little bit of analysis of the data. They either increased by 1 to 3%. Like I said, they never decreased. They never scored the lowest. I don't mean to say they never decreased. They never scored the lowest of the 3 classes. So they were either better or the same from 1 to 3%. They never scored lower than in either of those 2 classes. Like I said, all scores were based off 8 kids, because I have 8 kids in my 4th period class, so I just went ahead and based 1st and 6th period off of 8 scores as well. But I used the same 8 kids on all 3 classes. And then something I thought was really interesting, I put this on here. My 4th period students loved it. They've asked me when we can do it again, because like I said, we've only done 6 videos, and I'm still kind of working out kinks on how I can do it with implementing it with my reading and writing. I don't really know how. I'm going to talk with the English teachers to see if there's any ideas that they have that maybe I can try to do this with. Right now, the only thing that we've done is I've done it with just my math. So they've asked when we're going to do it again, and basically right now I'm telling them, we're going to hold off, and then in the summer my plan is to hopefully, find a way to get reading and writing implemented so that we can do units, and then hopefully, do it all through the year instead of just through 3 weeks. Alright, so my next steps. My plan is, like I just said, I want to create flipped classroom units. I want to be able to do English, I want to be able to do reading units, I want to be able to do writing units, and I want to be able to do math. Because that's what we focus on in our study skills classes. We do just the reading, writing, and math. I want to try to incorporate other content, like I said. Right now, I just did the 6 videos on math, and I think it would be pretty cool if I could, throw in some reading and writing. Maybe not do math and reading and writing for every single unit, but hey, this unit we're going to do for math, when we do the 3 or 4 weeks that we focus on equations, we're going to do the flipped classroom method. Then when we get to doing different reading strategies, hey, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to do all our reading instruction is going to be through the flipped classroom method. So that's my goal. Like I said, I want to have units for all content areas, and I want to try to hopefully create some PD hours. I'm going to talk to Mr. Pop and see if we can create some PD hours over the summer to where if I have these teachers come in and help me out, we can produce some PD hours for them because, it's hard to get you guys to want to come in, on the summer. And then we'll actually meet again to discuss results. Some questions that I've had just doing the 3 weeks is, will the data be consistent over longer periods of time? If I do this, beyond 3 weeks and I do more activities, is the data still going to increase? Or, is it going to decrease? Is it going to stay the same? What's going to happen? Which groups of students, my classes. So like, each one of my classes are different. Some classes have, EBD kids in them. Some classes have just SLD. I have some classes that are MMD. Some of them, they're all mixed in together. So which class will it work better with? Which type of learners is it going to work best with? And then, was this only successful because it was a new strategy? This was something new for them. So is that why that they really enjoyed it? After we do this for so long, is it, we're doing this again, like blah, blah, blah. We know how students get. So did their scores increase just because it was a new style that they haven't had yet? Alright, that wraps everything up. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns, guys? Yes, sir?
What if the student's absent?
Alright, so if a student's absent, I have it already uploaded on Google Docs. So if that student's absent and they know that we're doing math, so say they missed, we do math on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if they miss on Thursday, they know that when we did this, the 3 weeks, they knew that we were doing the flipped classroom method. So if they missed on Thursday, they knew like, hey, my homework was I need to watch my lecture. So they can log on to Google Docs, get their lecture, and then go on from there. And they can watch it, get the lecture. The only thing is that they won't have the guided notes. But I didn't do this when I did this for my classes. But what I plan to do on in the future is I'm going to upload the guided notes and everything already onto Google Docs, and then that way you can just go ahead and get that put in there. So that'll be on there. They can copy those, print them out. They can put it onto a Word document, and they can go on from there while watching the lecture. Anybody else? Right. Yes, sir.
What if a student doesn't have any internet?
If a student doesn't have any internet, what they can do is they can stay after school. Our library, I stay after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so they can stay after school with me. They can log onto a computer here. They can go to the library. And then also, I didn't have this problem because I didn't have kids who were absent during the time. I had one kid that was absent, and we just exempted him from it. But I was talking with Ms. Carnes earlier, and a good idea that she said is we could start implementing it with SCORE. So if they're absent, so if they don't have internet, then they can watch it during SCORE, which I thought was really cool. Because SCORE is a 15 to 20 minute time period for us for where kids can basically work on, they get extra instruction, individualized instruction with their teachers in each one of their contents. So that would actually be a very good time for them to actually watch the video if they don't have internet at home. Anybody else? Dugan, I know you got some questions. What you got for me? Alright. We're good. Thank you.